¿Qué lo que Knicks fans? It has been a while. What a wild summer. A lot going on, but we are back. We are back and we are rebranded, ladies and gentlemen. We are rebranded. We are now Nick's Wildin' Podcast right here. We just decided to switch it up a little bit. But everything stays the same. We're still wilding now. We're still going crazy and we still bleeding orange and blue. So you already know the vibe, man. It's your boy Triple M. This is your first time, man. Welcome and thank you for joining. Here, this is Nick's Wildin'. There might be some times that I drop the fans by mistake because I used to be our old name, but here, like I said, we are rebranded here. And you know what we do? We deep dive everything New York Knicks. We break down the highs, we break down the lows, and all the fast paced, jaw dropping moments for the New York Knicks. This is what we do on the show, and we're going to have a good time. And I'm here with my guys. It's been a minute, fellas, since I talked to y'all, so I got to kick it to my guy, Don Juan, first. Man, tell the people it's really good.
What's going on? What's going on, Nick fans? What's going on, fellas? It's been a long time coming, man. The summer was a bit of a drag, man. New York sports have been terrible. Zebo, don't smile. I know you're smiling over there, man. Worry about my Yankees. Worry about your Red Sox, man. But nonetheless, man, you got 13 days till game day. Literally counting down the days because the Giants are unbearable. Can't even watch those guys. So literally, our only hope is the New York Knicks. But I mean, shout out to the Liberty. They made it to the finals. Not looking too good, down 0-2, but nonetheless, they made it pretty far, repping the city hard, and hopefully that they could sprinkle some of that good juice over there to the Knicks side, and we could take that same energy to the finals, man. But yeah, man, glad to be with y'all, man. Glad to be here, and can't wait for opening day, game day. We gonna be there up close, ready to see our guys do what they do against not the one and only Celtics who made some moves this summer, and I can't wait to see how we match up against those guys.
Yes, sir. Zebo, how was your summer, bro? Talk to us. Talk to us.
It was good, bro. It was good. I miss my guys, man. Miss talking to y'all. Very exciting season coming up right now. We had a little bit of fun watching our guys in the fever, in the world, in the games, world games. It was, that was cool, but it was great, season coming up. And I know you missed the hands. Hold on, let me go ahead and shake the hand. Let me go ahead and shake the hands
Hey,
real
that's
Fire,
what I'm
quick.
talking
Let me go
about.
ahead and shake the hands real quick. But
fire is
yeah,
burning.
man, I'm excited, bro. It's a very exciting season, man. Big expectations, so just ready to get started, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all already know the vibes. Knicks Wildin' Podcast, as I mentioned before. So this is for the die-hard Knicks fans. This is for fans just getting started on the Knicks. Come over here. We'll lead you. We'll lead you the way. We'll lead you the way. So I'm gonna get started here talking about preseason. The Knicks beat the Celtics last 3 days ago, whatever the day might be. But it was a snoozer. Celtics rested everybody: Tatum, Brown, KP, Drew Holiday. So it was the Knicks got the C team of the Celtics, to say the least. But nonetheless, it's preseason, so it's time to get those wheels turning and everything. So I want to ask you guys. I'm gonna start with you, Don Juan. What are you looking for in this preseason games coming up?
I mean, obviously, we could say, we just want to see my guys ball out, do their thing, see what they worked on this summer. But honestly, just this year, we it's like a clean slate. Start of the year. The one guy I'm really holding on right now is on Julius Randle. I just want to see how that ankle is, man. Coming off of surgery, he got a lot of slack last year, especially off of his playoff performance. And I just feel like, mentally he's at the right place. Granted, we say that now, and he might knock somebody out the first game, and that all goes to hell. But for real though, I remember something that stood out this summer where he was in the Paul George podcast. He said, that this year was one year where, especially being that he was out, he couldn't really work out, where he was focused on film work, and I think that that's something that maybe he really needed to really see what were some of the problems with him. So seeing how the ankle and how he's moving on the floor, but also defensively, his awareness, I feel like that's something where he was really exposed last year. And honestly, I mean, it's just one game preseason and whatnot, but he was moving well on switches, talking on defense. I think that that time off where he wasn't really doing much, probably just like I said, watching film and working on his own good spirits and being with the fam. I feel like he's gonna be at a better place this year, and hopefully he's moved on from that ankle injury, and he's back to where he left off prior to being injured, which is All NBA, All Star type player.
Yeah, yeah. That ankle looked all right first game for Julius, and he's gonna play a lot of minutes most likely because the
Hmm.
backup forward situation is a little shaky. But we'll touch on that in a few. For me, fellas, I'm looking at Quinn Grimes. I think that's a player that's gonna have a huge role on the Knicks this season. So I want to see him. They talked him up a little bit during the training camp and said that they want him to be more aggressive and looking for his shots more. So I'm dying to see anything new. That first game we didn't really see much. He did a nice little step back three, which I was like, okay, I see you, Grimes, but we didn't really see much more expansion as far as with him on with the ball and stuff like that. And another thing that I want to look at is those last three roster spots for the Knicks. The Knicks are a deep team; they have a lot of depth, but the NBA season, you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen, and the Knicks they have a couple guys battling. We saw Jacob Toppin, Obi's brother, out there. When you heard that alley oop to Toppin, I almost had like
Bro,
I
some
was just like
flashbacks. He's
I
back.
had
Oh,
flashbacks right there. I thought I was dreaming. I'm like, hold on, I was falling asleep with that preseason game, but that woke me up right there at the end. So I want to see, what he has. Maybe he can make that final roster spot or Archie Diacono. There's a lot of guys there in the back end that
yeah, Daquan Jeffries.
yes, that's another one, Daquan Jeffries. That you just never know when you might need these guys, or as far as even practice, you want these guys to battle our starters and important players during practice and really go after them. So that's a quiet battle that I don't see much people talking about, but I'm interested in it. I was watching that game to the end because, a guy like McBride, his shot, his offense, it needs to come around. This is already year three. We know his defense is already elite. But what
Mm.
about that offense? Preseason is a time to see that. So I'm excited to see those two things. Ziba, what about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I think for me, just two things. I mean, one, I just want to see how the offense is gonna, I want to see how the offense is gonna be flowing this preseason. Just because I feel like during the playoffs, our offense did get a bit exposed. I feel like last season, even though we were third in the league in offense, I feel like we did rely too much on our ISO ball. So we relied a lot on Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle to kind of go ahead and do their thing. But obviously, adding Dante to the team, the efficient, a lot of guys we're gonna have to rely on more guys to be a little bit more efficient with their shots. Which I saw a little bit in the preseason. Like I did see the ball. I saw that a lot of guys were passing up the ball, looking for the open shot. I even saw RJ, going for the drive and just kicking it out to different people. So I definitely want to see a change. One of the emphasis I feel like is, and I think most of the guys did, they did go ahead and spoke about this during media day, is that a lot of guys have to be a little bit more efficient, and the ball has to be flowing a lot better. So that is something I am going to be looking at. And then the second thing too is just that those OB minutes. I want to see who's going to be the person that's going to take those OB minutes. It looks like from the first game, it looks like it may be Jericho Sims. I mean, I know Hardenstein. He's probably going to be, Mitch and Hardenstein. They're probably going to be balancing out those minutes. So I feel like Thibs he's going to be relying on Jericho Sims a little more. Like you said, same as McBride. Like he's coming into this already a few years with Thibs. So I think Thibs does have that trust in him. So we'll see. He's athletic. He's obviously big. I mean, I'm hoping that he can show a little bit more on offense that he has shown, because there was a few games where he just gave us donuts. So I'm definitely yeah. So I'm definitely expecting a little more from him. Definitely take those OB minutes and be productive. So those are the two things. It's just the offense, and then just seeing who's going to take those OB minutes.
Mm.
Yeah, oh, those OB minutes are huge. I'm curious to see what you think, Don Juan, on that backup four position.
Well, it was interesting that I wasn't really worried too much because I figured, it's not that much minutes. But coming off of surgery, Julius Randle this summer, I think that we do have to give him some time to just come to his own. So they are going to be valuable, and there's going to be a lot of nights where, let's say, we want to give him some extra rest. If it's a blowout, just to make an example, last year Tibbs would play Randle probably the whole game with the blowout. It didn't matter, but this year I do think that being that he's coming off of this surgery, we do need to tread carefully. It is a long season, can't go crazy, but I the way I see it is, especially after today, Tibbs be talking his ass sometimes, and he be saying shit just to say it. Today he was talking of Jericho Sims, he looked good out there, whatnot. But man, I really don't believe anything Tibbs is saying at this point. That's just the curveball that we all, maybe not all of us want to hear, but it's just something that is just nice to see, especially with Jericho Sims. Like, oh look, he's gonna come around as a guy that we develop, homegrown and whatnot. But we all know, man, he's gonna go to his guy. It's gonna be Josh Hart. Josh Hart is gonna get all those minutes, maybe split up with a little bit of RG as well. We saw RJ actually playing a lot of like a bigger position down in that first preseason game where he's not playing so much outside. If anything, he's like especially taking guys into the paint. Where I feel like we're gonna be playing much of a more spread out offense when it comes to that second unit, more faster pace. And that's when guys like Josh Hart and RJ Barrett shine, and that's when they work at their best. They're also great rebounders for their size. So I wouldn't doubt it that that's what Tibbs is gonna do. And also a lot of other teams second unit, play small. I don't think that that's gonna be something that we also gonna be worried about too much. Where we're gonna be uh just outsized most nights. Maybe every out of every, like, 10 games is gonna be that one game where you might see Jericho Sims play some more minutes, or play minutes in general, because Tibbs is gonna stick to his 9-man rotation. And now with the addition of Dante DiVincenzo and the subtraction of Obi Toppin, that means there's not really gonna be any minutes for a guy like Jericho Sims out there. So I'm not expecting Sims to play too much, and I'm expecting Josh Hart and RJ to take most of those minutes at the power forward position.
Yeah, I totally agree with Don Juan here. Uh, I think maybe sometimes, very rarely, we'll see Sims. I mean, some teams have like, a couple big men coming off the bench, so maybe you throw Sims in there 2 3 minutes, and that is all. But I think for the most part, like Don Juan said, you're gonna see a lot of Josh Hart at the four and RJ. Listen, I said this before, but I really like this. This move for RJ, like Obi got traded, okay, whatever, time to move on. But now RJ's here at the four with a couple shooters. I know Obi used to be a shooter, but from the corner only. Now you got guys that move around a lot. Quickly moves a lot. DiVincenzo moves. Josh Hart, he's a slasher. So now you give RJ room to operate more cleaner. And I think RJ playing a backup four, I mean, he's going to be faster than a lot of these backup four. And RJ's biggest strength since he entered the league has been how strong he is. Even at a young age, he was very strong, handled his own weight. So I think this move might quietly be well for RJ. This backup 4 minutes. RJ can eat, like he can eat, and there's gonna be no Brunson on the court with him, no Julius Randle on the court with
Mm,
him. So he's the guy. And this team is gonna play fast, quickly. DiVincenzo, they want to get out to the break. And RJ, he's great on in transition. Like he really attacks the rim, either draws the foul. He's a good finisher at the rim. So I really think that this backup four position, if they really give it to RJ and RJ really gets locked in, it's gonna be a game changer for RJ this season for sure, and
right.
give him those extra points where he don't have to defer to Julius or defer to Brunson, because he's the guy. He's
Yeah.
the guy, and if they double team him, he's gonna kick it out to DiVincenzo or quickly. And these guys, they know what to do with that ball. So
Yeah,
Facts.
nah. I mean, but it's like you said, like I mean, we expect what Randall to play what is 36 minutes. So I mean, the minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
that backup
exactly.
forward, he's probably gonna be like 5 6 minutes. So it's not. So yeah, I mean, in those spurts, I could definitely see RJ. I could see Hart doing it as well because there was times where yeah, I mean, a few times where he had to guard bigs like Pascal. So yeah,
Mhm.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I mean, you see me, I'm in the training facility right now. So, like, I'm watching these guys. You got the retired jerseys up there, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing these guys work. I'm seeing these guys work, fellas.
Another
But
thing with RJ, bro, he as long as he's making those free throws too, man, we could make he gonna make some noise and it's gonna be valuable for him attacking the basket. I mean, he went 9 for 9
Yeah, that was a big
that first
positive.
game, and that was a big positive, man. That was something I really loved seeing there. Granted, one game, one preseason game, but there's a guy that coming off of that FIBA run with Canada, he proved to be one of those guys where, everybody was expecting Shaw to do his thing, and RJ did his thing, showed out, and he's gonna carry that same momentum hopefully to the season. And
he has to. He
that
has to.
first game preseason, just off of free throws, it looked good. He wasn't that efficient overall, but
I don't know how long of a leash RJ has. He can't start off slow like he be doing. You're gonna see
yeah, that is a fact.
DiVincenzo just coming to that starting lineup. So RJ really has to carry that momentum because this is a
Yeah.
huge year for RJ for sure.
Yeah,
Speak,
Triple M still got RJ stock, so
I got a lot of RJ stock, man, but it's looking like my marijuana stocks right now. They're at an all time low. All of them. Like it's just like, well, you get a little pump, you get a little pump and dump here and there, but oh man. But let's speaking of the season and slow starts by RJ, fellas. I want to ask you guys
Mm.
these first 10 games the Knicks have, man, it is daunting. And I just got to pull it up to show you guys right here. Wow, these first 10 games, I'm going to read it to you guys quickly. We start off the season against the Boston Celtics. And if you haven't followed what the Celtics have done, you go on ESPN.com and look it up. This team is deep. They got not deep. This team starting five is elite, and they added two pretty good players to that starting five to that unit. So you got Celtics opening night. You got Atlanta at Atlanta. That's always difficult for the Knicks. I feel like going down to Atlanta is always hard. Then you got at New Orleans, third game of the season, so you know Zion is going to be healthy, and Brandon Ingram, they're going to be healthy. If it was in the
Mhm.
middle of the season, it'll be shaky, but in the
For
beginning,
real.
they're healthy. Then you got a back to back against Cleveland. That team is going to be looking for revenge after the Knicks embarrassed them in the first round. And then you got the other big horse in the East, the Milwaukee Bucks. Game, this is tough. Then you got the Clippers again early in the season. So you know Paul George and Kawhi, no load management there. They're going to be healthy.
Yo, the scheduling was on purpose. You see that, right? They making sure all them guys we play all them guys is usually all hurt.
Playing them early. Then you got the Spurs. You see what the 7'4" Frenchman Wembanyama has. He's gonna be at the Garden early in the season, so you know he's gonna be pumped.
Hmm.
Then you get the Hornets. You don't want to call any game easy right now. You want to take what the Hornets got right now. And then, fellas, we face Boston again. Wow,
Sheesh.
that it is a tough schedule, man. I'm gonna keep it up there so you can refer to it. I'll put it back as we talk here. Wow. Yeah, those first 10 games, fellas, is tough. It's tough. So,
Sheesh.
Zeba, I want to get your thoughts, man. How you feeling these first 10 games? And what happens if the Knicks get off to a slow start?
Oh, we got to start fast. I'll be honest with you. We definitely got to go ahead and start fast, just because. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, honestly, for us to just to get a feel. I mean, I understand that on the offensive, it's probably going to take a little bit of a while, just for especially for new guys like Dante to go ahead and get into the groove of things. But we definitely got to start fast, just because Emmanuel quickly. This is a contract year for him. A lot of people expect, if he does actually have a pretty good start, they expect him to sign a contract during the middle of the season. So I don't know. I don't know for
But
sure
no, he
if that
can't.
is going to happen,
I don't
but
want to cut. I don't want to cut you off, bro. But he can't sign when the season starts. The deadline is the first game of the season.
for him to go ahead and sign an extension.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if it goes into the season, he can't sign it.
I think it's like 200 hours right now. So how many hours is that?
Yeah, it's just before the season starts. So yeah,
Okay, so
it's
yeah.
coming.
Got you. So yeah, I mean, bro, I mean, regardless though, I mean, he is looking for a brand new contract right now. So I know he wants to go ahead and go ahead and get in a good start. Go ahead and get in a good start. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, for us, we definitely want to go ahead and start quick, just because, and I feel like too, it's doable, just because most of the core guys, they've been there for a while. I mean, RJ even said it during media day, like. The one thing he has known is that he's been there, with he's been there with Julius, so there's already a good rapport right there. This
Mm-hmm.
is the second year. This is the second year of of Brunson being there with the team. He's familiar with literally everyone that's there, even Dante going through the college years. So there's no reason why we shouldn't go ahead and start
I
quick. It
mean, there's
seems
a
like everyone is
reason.
in a pretty good headspace too. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he's here. There's literally a reason he's here.
Nah, you
So
said no reason for us to get to a slow start, bro. Don't make me read the schedule. There is a reason for sure. It's tough.
I mean, it's definitely tough, but it's doable for us to go ahead and go ahead in those
Uh,
first 10 games.
quickly,
Start.
quickly, give me 6 wins, real quick, right here. Give me 6 wins.
Give you six. I'll give you the first game. First game, we got the Boston game. We got Atlanta. We got New Orleans. We'll start 4-0. We'll split with the Cavs. That's five. And then what we have,
No, split with the Cavs is
we'll
4-1.
okay, 4-1, yeah. And then what else we got? So that'd be 4-1.
Bucks.
We could take Charlotte. We could take Charlotte. That's five. San Antonio, I can see us taking that game. The Clippers, I mean, you honestly never. See, the thing is with the Clippers
I mean,
that
you're
is that
already
you
at
don't even
six right
know
there.
exactly, and
Zebo,
you don't know,
Zebo
and
has
you don't know,
Zebo. Look,
and you don't know with the Clippers either. You don't know if Kawhi's playing. You don't know if Paul George is playing. So,
This is
um,
your first time watching this episode. You just learned that Zebo is the ultimate optimistic
but
Knicks fan.
beyond,
He has
but
the
come
Knicks
on, keep it.
going nine and
But I
one during
feel,
the first
but
10 games.
listen, when we used to go ahead and do our picks for the week, I was pretty. I'm not gonna lie, I was money. I was money. I was money on the record on what our record would be at the end of the season. And every time we would do our weekly picks, I was money. So, and I haven't been wrong. And like I said, man,
Okay, so
this is
nine.
literally
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. 9-1. Knicks opening up the
hold
season.
on,
The Heat-
hold on, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't say that. I didn't say. I didn't say nine
Bro,
and
you
one,
only
but
gave us you only gave us
I
one
wouldn't be
loss.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll give us two losses, but I wouldn't be
Okay,
surprised
eight
if
and
we
two.
went 9-1.
8-2. Got it. Got it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we in those first 10 games we had at least 8-9 wins.
Okay, there we go.
Whoa,
This is the
baby.
ultimate optimism. I love it. I love this
Jeez.
optimism.
Hey,
For
keep the
me,
good
for me,
spirits. Keep the good spirits.
yeah, for me, I'm scared. I'm definitely scared because these teams they're gonna come and the Knicks are not gonna sneak up on nobody. You know, this team is a good team. So, you figure last year they snuck up on some team here and there. Nobody knew Jalen Brunson was this guy, I mean, you saw it in the playoff, but now you like after that Heat series, teams are really game planning to the full on Jalen Brunson now. So,
Mhm.
what is Julius Randle's ankle? We don't know. Like when the season starts. And RJ, he's a slow starter every single year. But in saying all that, the Knicks have to start off strong. They have to start off kind of like the Cavs did last year, just flying out the gates. Because this is the time, you see the Celtics, you play them twice. They're adding two new starters to that starting lineup. So they have things to figure out. It's not
Mhm.
going to be
That's what
easy
I'm
for them.
saying.
Then you just have to beat these teams like Atlanta and New Orleans. That those are good teams, but you're a good team as well. So you have to come out there and you have to win these games.
Right.
And, the Clippers is hard, Milwaukee's hard, but you have to beat like the Spurs and Charlotte. So you have to try to go 6-4. I mean, anything other than that, it would be a disappointment for me because, like I said, for the New York Knicks, they fed us all summer that running the same team back, continuality, and all those words that they keep using and being familiar with each other. Like that was a key component
Mhm.
to their summer and wanting to keep that core together. So you got to go out there and show it here in the beginning of the year. So even though the schedule is hard, and I can see this team struggling out the gate because they're facing a lot of good teams. I
Yeah,
need
but
to
I
see
mean,
6-4. I need to see at least 6-4.
I mean, 5 games, pretty much top four seeds from
I mean,
last
real quick
season.
though, before you say before you go ahead, Juan, just real quick, so one thing you did emphasize, Triple M, is that like you said, most of those teams we are facing, like there is an adjustment period. Like most of the guys that they are bring, like at least with our team, most of our core guys, these are guys that have that have been through the system already. Like most of the teams that we are facing, it's gonna take time for them to go ahead and adjust with their new teammates. So I feel like we'll go ahead and take a I feel like we'll go ahead and take advantage of that starting off. So that's why I see us going into a very, into a quick start.
Okay,
Yeah, I could definitely
I
see
hear
that.
that.
I could definitely see that. But at the same time, these teams they're tough. Sometimes just talent win. You got
Hmm.
Tatum Brown and Drew Holiday. You figure it out. You figure it out on the fly. So the Knicks have to be ready,
Yeah.
and I think I trust this team this year. I really do. I really trust this team because they showed a lot last year. They showed a lot of. How many times did you think last year did we come on this podcast where it was like, okay, the season's over, it's cooked? I remember vividly after that Dallas game, everybody was like, "Yo, Thibs is out of here. Tim Hardaway is doing the Harlem Shake on the Garden floor. This is over. The season is over." Even like a
That was a
fresh
bad
game,
run.
the
That was a bad
OKC game when Josh Giddey
OKC.
had a triple double, and they scored like 50 something points, and you like to OKC. Well, OKC turned out to be a very good team, but that's another example where you're like, all right, this team is cooked. It's not gonna be good. It's gonna be again like last year, and we're gonna struggle. And look at this team just turned it around. They got Josh Hart and they went on their run. So I need to see it again, Don Juan. Though I want to get your thoughts on those first 10 games. And if
Oof.
yeah, again, Don Juan, he's a mellow, but he's on the optimistic side as well. He's on the Zebo, so I wouldn't be surprised if my boy has us going 7-3 right now.
Nah, nah.
Nah.
Nah, I don't have a 7-3, man. But look, man, that is a tough schedule. Can't lie. But you know what? There's a saying, man. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest
Oh, my
soldiers.
boy
You feel
went.
me? I think personally, I really think, man, we gonna hit the ground running, and mainly because we got a lot of the same guys back. You guys mentioned that earlier, and on top of that, a lot of the good teams that we're facing do need some time to adjust. The Bucks just got Dame. That's gonna take some time to adjust. And like you mentioned, Triple M, Holiday and KP added to the Celtics. That's another adjustment as well. And the thing is with Dante DiVincenzo, he's a bench player and he's more of a complimentary player. Is going to be off ball. He's not. And another thing is that we signed them. We signed them right away. It wasn't like we wasted any time. So I'm pretty sure these guys were in contact, and it also helps that the good vibes and good energy that chemistry is already built. There's not like a whole thing, a whole like a new thing that needs to be developed. It's like, yo, you were the one that was just missing in the corner. We wanted you here the whole time. Like, it must have been something on the table where everybody already knew that Dante DiVincenzo was gonna end up on the Knicks. And then, of course, everyone is healthy. Sounds like we had a great training camp. I do think that we're gonna hit the ground running. Do I see us going 8-1, 8-2, 9-1? No, not even 7-3. But I give us 6-4, right? And that's because there's another thing with the Cavs. The Cavs honestly have a lot of the same cast, but they're also dealing with. I just recently heard Jared Allen is hurt. I'm pretty sure that we honestly might take those 2 games from them. They're already weak
Don
down
Juan
low,
feeling.
and I'm honing in on those 2 games, being that those guys gonna come out for blood. I know Donovan Mitchell after a disappointing first round elimination, especially against a team that he wanted to go to, and it looks like we're just having mad fun over here without him. I'm pretty sure he's gonna try to go for 50, but these
Yeah,
Knicks, man, it's just something about these Knicks, man. They don't really fear that team, the Cavs, and I do think that we're gonna go over there, and then when they come back to MSG, we're just gonna show them who the real beast is in the East. Granted, I don't think that it's gonna fare well with the Bucks, but I do think we're gonna fare well against the Boston Celtics first game. Hawks, Bucks is the Bucks. and the back end where we play the Clippers and the Celtics is where I do think that Boston might have things going. Clippers, we just gonna have you're facing them when they're everybody's there. So I feel like we don't have the star power to compete with them. Granted, we honestly haven't seen Paul George and Kawhi Leonard play many games together, so that might be a little weird just even seeing them on the court. So I
They
say
did
six and
play here
four.
last year when they
I
hit the
say six
game
and
winner.
four. But one thing I would say is that even if we don't go 6 and 4, right? Let's say we go 4-6. I wouldn't overreact. It's a long season, 82 games. Last season, 5-5 to start. What we did, we made it. We won 47 games, made it to the second round. The season before, we won 6-4, and what we did, won 37 games and missed the playoffs, man. So, man, I'm not gonna go too crazy. If anything, let's get these hard games out the way early, and then as the season plays out, maybe it's the schedule starts getting a little lighter later on. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting, especially with the whole tournament coming around, and that's gonna be a whole new rule implemented. Plus, the actual rule that was implemented where stars can't even rest. Then there's no more load management. I know that's gonna be a little different. So I would say that these games do matter a little more, being that there's no load management. So we need to hit the ground running, especially when a team like the Celtics and the Bucks made some big moves, big splashes. That they're already favored to win the East. Both of those guys are clear separate. Like there's a clear separation from those guys to us, and even the Sixers who could implode any day now.
Yeah, the NBA is a grind. The NBA is a grind, and to be honest, even after those 10 games, we all go on the road to Atlanta, Washington, Charlotte, Minnesota, then come back home, Miami, Phoenix. Whew. We could go on and on, but the Knicks, like we said, they're a good team. We're expecting them to make noise, so you got to just beat these teams, especially uh at home. Let me just pull this up one more time. You got one, two, three, four, 5 games there at home. You got to protect the Garden. Got to protect
And
Madison
I
Square Garden.
and real quick too though, just going back to like injuries. One look, you said Jared Allen. I mean, do we really? I mean, again, talking about KP, a guy that we super familiar with, that we know his injury history. Can we really expect him for that? For that 10th game, we don't know that. Kawhi, like I
Yeah, but
said before, we
we
don't
here
know if we're gonna have more minutes restriction. Wimbayama too, you don't know. You don't know how they're
we
gonna
here
go ahead and balance his
analyzing as
minutes as
everything
well
is gonna
too.
be a full
So
strength, man. We don't know injuries. We can't just assume like you never know if this guy's
I'm
gonna be
now I'm
healthy.
with those players. I'm definitely gonna go ahead and assume.
Nah,
I'm not
we're
even
assuming
but I'm definitely
everybody's
assuming
in
with
full
those
strength
players.
because they could be looking at us
Nah,
the
I'm
same
not.
way. What if
Nah.
Brunson hurts himself? God forbid, or
Yeah, yeah.
That's if he hurts himself. But we talking about players with injury history. Our
uh,
players, except for Randall, which Randall right now he looks 100% from what everyone's saying. I don't hear nothing about no minutes restriction, no load management. Those are
let's
most of
see.
the
Let's
teams
see.
that we
He
playing
said
with.
he didn't work out all summer. He said he was just watching film, so it might take him some time to adjust. It might
Exactly.
take him some time to ramp up. But
I mean, but that's why we
Zebo,
got
he
preseason though.
Zebo's optimistic. Zebo's
Nine and
I
optimistic.
mean,
one,
but
nine
but
and
that's
one.
but that's
Nine
what we
and
got. But
one.
that's what we got. Yeah.
Nine and
Yo,
one.
I'm telling you, I'm money with. I'm telling you, bro. I've been money. I was money last season.
We'll
So
Yeah,
follow up
I
after the
need
10th
I need
game.
one of y'all listeners, viewers to go back and just see how accurate Zeba was last season,
I'm,
because we
I'll
need to hold them
follow up.
accountable. We need to hold them accountable.
Yeah, I'll follow
I'm
up on
telling you.
November 13th. Look at that. 30 days away. We already have something to Rose Zebo about when the Knicks, Let's see how it goes.
Yo, and
Let's
it's
see how it
crazy
goes.
with one more thing too, bro. Like, why we by the time opening day comes, we're gonna face the Celtics 3 times. It's gonna be a third time in a matter of like 2 weeks that
Yeah.
we're gonna face off against the Celtics. Like we
Yeah.
faced them twice in preseason, and then obviously it's not the real thing, but you'd assume that last game of preseason they're gonna be more ready to play an official game. I mean, last year we saw Julius Randle. Was it last year that Julius Randle hit that buzzer beater as the last game of preseason
I
against
think
the
it was two
Wizards?
years ago.
And Thibs was playing those guys like 35, 40 minutes. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Is
Yo,
a
but you know
playoff
what's
game?
something else here? As I look at the schedule, I got it up again. we play a lot of games back to back. Look at that. Friday, Saturday, that's a
Mm-hmm.
back to back. Then just a day or two. Okay, that's right. But look at that. November 8th and November 13th. We got a back to back day, the 12th to 13th. And then the 8th, like we play a lot of games jumbled up here too. They
Yeah, yeah.
Adam Silver trying to violate. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm looking at that. Adam Silver trying to violate. He knows Randall's hurt and he's putting us back to backs early in the year. Come on. Even preseason giving us a back to back. What's going on
Yo,
there,
my
bro?
man, listen, my boy is fine, man. My boy is an Iron Man. Come on, bro. This is full. This is Mr. Play a full season Randall. Come on now.
That's a
Okay.
fact. I hear that. I hear that. You're
Okay.
not lying. You're not
Let's
lying.
go
He would have
to
played 82 games if it wasn't for his bumped ankle last year.
let's go
Exactly.
to another and Zebo favorite here. His coach Tom Thibodeau right here. So I put up a tweet earlier and it got some traction. So I want to see what you guys think about it. Here's the tweet. I posted it. Uh, Follow your boy right here, Triple M. What's up? But I'm gonna read the tweet for you guys. I said Tom Thibodeau is about to enter his fourth year coaching the Knicks. That last Knicks to coach the Knicks fourth season was Mike D'Antoni, and he was fired during that season. Tibbs already has more wins, 125 of those things, than Mike had. Mike D'Antoni had 121, and Tibbs has coached 52 less games. So here, speaking of stats and stuff, Tibbs has been very successful in New York, but Tibbs has come with a lot of drama and stubbornness and minutes problems and being out coached and out schemed a lot of times that we've seen him. So I want to ask you guys, how would you characterize Tibbs? He enters the fourth season tenure in New York. Zebo, I gotta start with you because you're a Tom Thibodeau disciple.
Bro, it's been a roller coaster that I would not change not one thing, bro.
Oh,
Come
nah.
on, two. Hold on, listen, bro. We talking about two playoff appearances. Yeah, one first round exit, but the other one we made it to the second round. I mean, honestly, within our lifetimes, have we seen we haven't seen that. Come on
We're
now.
not
It's like I'm
we're not
not like I'm
comparing
not
no.
even like I'm not like we talking about Mike D'Antoni, like for real. He did like he had the thing with the coaches that we had before that is that we had moments. At least with Coach Tibbs, he's shown that we've seen that consistency of winning. And the other thing as well too, I know people like to criticize Tibbs, but at least you've seen him year to year start to change his mindset, towards certain things. Like I really don't like this perception that he runs his guys to the ground, that he don't, he's stubborn, he don't listen to people and stuff like that. Like, nah, he's giving the opportunities to the young guys. He even said it himself, like, yo, whenever like obviously he roasted Fournier, but he was right. Like, listen, when he made he was able to go ahead and make those adjustments to the lineups, for the better of the team. And so honestly, like I said before, I wouldn't change not one thing. We saw two playoff appearances. It's been exciting. Again, with Randall, look, he gave the trust to Randall, and what has that gotten him? Two All-Star appearances, two All NBA appearances, two playoff appearances. He brought us, he went ahead and gave the green light to Jalen Brunson to come on the team, and so yeah, bro. Honestly, I can't complain. This is probably the best. This 4 year stretch has been the best of being a Knicks fan. So yeah, bro, I wouldn't change that one thing. And honestly, I don't, and if y'all come back and just start and if y'all really disagree, I'm honestly I'll be really disappointed because it's like, come on, like we
All
see,
right,
like
so
at least we seen the consistency of winning.
I'm not hippie hey ho ho like you are. I have my complaints about Tibbs. I really do. So granted, he did come to New
Yo, you know
York.
what? To turn me, you know what? It's already early, bro. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Nah, I'm waiting for
Get
you
me
to
out
say
of here.
something outrageous. Once you say something outrageous, I'll get you out of here. But listen, he came to New York and he changed the culture. He changed the culture, and it was good. It was good because we needed that. We was the laughing stock of the league, and he came in, no nonsense, and no bully. But the thing with Tibbs is just that stubbornness still kind of irks me all the time. It just does. Like it's just his way or the highway, and his offensive. I've been clamoring the Knicks to hire an offensive guy for Tom Thibodeau because this man, his offenses be a little stale. You saw what happened in the Miami series where it was just ISO, ISO, and they were easily able to scheme off that. That's a coaching thing right there. That is a
I get
coaching thing right there.
I get it, and I brought that up. But again, we was third in offense last season. He gave the trust in Randall, and look what it got him. Like it got him to All NBA. Like again, it could he be a little bit more efficient? Yes, but at the same time, he gave the trust to the people that we needed to give trust to, and look what it did for us.
Yeah, I mean, but that's every coach. You look at Steve Kerr. He gave his trust to Steph Curry. Where that got him. Every
Mhm.
coach depends on their player, obviously. So I can't give him that much credit for that. But I can't give him credit for changing the culture here and making the Knicks a no nonsense place and bringing winning into New York. But I'm not on some I can't complain. There's a lot that I can complain about, especially we talked about 2 years ago him starting Alec Burks till game 80. And what did that do for us? There's just stubbornness that he has done during his tenure here that has been very frustrating as a Knicks fan, and you can complain about that, and it's something that who knows if quickly would have got more range, what that would have done what for that his confidence. Alex Burke is not even on this Knicks team no more. There was no reason to see him for game 80 or Evan Fournier game 82. He was still starting.
But at
So
that
that
point, bro, we wasn't making
I'm
the
talking
playoffs.
about Knicks tenure only, like right here, these 4 years, his Knicks tenure. There's
Well,
been a
three
lot
years,
of
3 years
highs.
going on 4,
Yeah,
right?
3 years. Excuse me. There's been a lot of highs and there's been just as many lows. So there's complaining, and I will give him a solid B minus. Solid right there. B
Nah,
minus.
Mm, it's
And
not bad. It's
he
not
has
bad.
100. How many wins I said he has? He has a
One
nah, nah.
125.
Nah, Don,
125
nah,
win.
Don Juan looking at you like, nah, you bugging too. He gave you the, I don't know
Don Juan
about
could
that.
be
I
on
don't know.
my
He
Don
giving
Juan
you the,
could be
I don't
on
know
mine,
about
bro.
that.
Look,
Let,
I'm not.
let's see
put
what
it
You
this
Don
being
way.
Juan has.
spoiled, bro. You
Let,
spoiled. That's
let's see
why.
what Don Juan said.
Look, guys. I'm not too far off. I'm a little bit in between both of y'all. Sounds like Zebo is at like an A plus A.
No, no,
You
no. I'll
know,
give him. I'll give him a B plus, bro. Because again, we haven't made it. Because
sound a
again, we
little
have
more
we
like an
didn't we
A,
didn't make
but
it to the conference finals. Again, I do have my. Again, I'm not gonna. Again, I feel like the good overweighs whatever bad that Triple M just said.
I hear that. I hear that.
That's
All
my
right,
thing. So I'll
so
give him. I'll give him a solid B plus. I'm
so
not gonna give him an A
for
because we
me,
still don't got that chip.
something that yeah both mentioned is the coaching setting. I feel like the coaching setting was a big deal, and I feel like that was probably the biggest reason why they brought him here. I do think team success, defense, and all that was part of it too. Plus, he was part of the Knicks fan from before. So it's definitely something that came around full circle for him to become the head coach. But I do think, the pedigree of New York with the coaching setting, when it comes to defense and that grit and that grind, he definitely implemented that. It took him to bring some of his guys, whether it was Derrick Rose or Taj Gibson, to do that. But it's fine. I mean, I feel like those guys definitely played their part, played their role, maybe a little bit too much in regards to minutes, where they did take up some minutes for the young guys. But I do think that was part of the development for the young guys. I really can't hold that against them. The front office, also had their own interests. Where you see guys like Alfred Payton come to the team, and you see a guy like Scott Perry who has pretty much dragged Alfred Payton everywhere he's been. I do think that was a little more political move, but at the same time, it was also Tibbs is a guy that trusts his vets, and he wants to make sure at least to limit the errors. And he thought that by playing his vets, that was like the right move. And honestly, who's to say that we're talking so gracefully or so so good about guys like IQ or even the other young guys. I mean, you saw Obi as well. Like,
Not even
there
mention
was
no.
some moments where we're like, yeah, these guys deserve the minutes, but when given the minutes, sometimes they didn't perform. Granted, maybe they needed that room to grow, but we don't know. We honestly don't know. And we won 40 some games that first year with Alfred Payton leading the helm, and Alec Burks playing. Yeah, the second year didn't play out too great, but I think I feel like part of that was also the front office and bringing guys that we really didn't need. He was honestly dealt a bad hand Did he have a
and play.
choice? Did he have a decision? Did he have a decision on who we ended up signing? I'm
That's a
not sure
fact.
because I'm pretty sure he didn't want Kemba Walker there. I'm pretty
That's a
sure he didn't
fact.
want Evan Fournier out there. So
That's a
it,
fact.
it, it was
Triple
like
Yo,
he
M's
was
guy.
Debo.
forced to play
All
these
right,
guys,
Debo,
given the
calm
contract
down.
and given the need. We needed a point guard and we needed some scoring, so they brought in those guys, and it failed on us. And even last year, the start of the season, Fournier started, but he pivoted. I mean, I think Grimes also was hurt, so that also played a part. But he was quick to pivot, and now I think a lot of people overlooked that. Granted, he's a guy that's been stubborn a lot. He's been real stubborn, especially throughout his career. But I do think he's coming around with these Knicks, and he's coming around with these young guys. Maybe he has no choice because he has no other he has no vets to play. But I do think that he's coming around with these young guys, and he's really liking what they've become. And I truly believe with this, prove it, whether it's in practice or with the limited minutes that you're getting, that's when you prove and you show that you could be relied on. And last year, a guy like Emmanuel quickly proved that he really could ball out and deserved to be the sixth man of the year. Where at times he would shoot himself out in years prior. Last year he really stepped up, not only offensively because we always knew he could go off and get hot, but defensively. And who do we have to who do we credit that to? Yeah, Emmanuel quickly for doing his thing, but also Tibbs because that's the mentality that he's putting on and enforcing onto these guys. And realistically is infectious. And I do think that when you get players that do complement Tibbs' style of play or style of coaching, like a Josh Hart, you see a whole different team and a different like flow to the game. Where I do think, you know, Tibbs it might be just the perfect coach for what we got right now. Maybe eventually when we bring in, like, let's say a superstar, that's when the fire's gonna be on his butt. But for right now, I mean, I'll be wrong for me to say that is anything less than a B plus, just because we haven't seen the success, and we haven't seen the success. That's one thing, but the fact that 2 out of 3 years made the playoffs, there has been some stability both in the focus of what the team is focused on, the goals that we're focused on, which is setting the tone defensively, and then secondly, just being a whole unit, man. I just think that the team is so enclosed right now, man. There's so much to look forward to, man. I just can't wait to see this team get on the court, man, and get some dubs, man. This year forward coach Tibbs. I know a lot of people got him on the hot seat, but how can you put a guy on the hot seat when he's the best that we've had in the last decade, to say the least?
Zebo and Don
Yo,
Juan.
thank you, Don Juan. Thank you,
They
Don Juan.
tagging
See,
up
see, you
on
on
me.
my
They
bro.
tag
You
teaming
just
on
being
me.
picky for no
Bro,
reason,
we
No,
bro.
had
no,
bro, we could go.
I'm not being picky. There is concerns and there is struggles throughout his tenure. There has been. I mean, I give y'all that his hands, he was dealt a bad hand at times or whatever the case might be, but there's still times where you just struggle to really see. For example, one example, you just talked about it. Playing nine guys, yeah, had success, but he does it a lot sometimes, and the minutes has always been shaky. I want to see what he's gonna do with the minutes this season. They've always been bad, and especially sometimes you feel like he doesn't hold players like Randall accountable. How many times did Randall slap laptop or throw stuff around in the or fight teammates, and you just don't really see him being held accountable, by Tips. I think that's something that I would like to see more about him, but we'll see. We'll see. Look, I wanted Tips here. I was a Tips guy. Like I like that the Knicks hired him, and I'm not complaining. I'm just being a little not so nice on my grade like you guys are, because I do see better with him. I thought this defense was gonna be some like crazy defense that just changed the league, and I haven't seen that yet. We talk about that kick out 3-pointer, how it's been. And last year we was in the bottom on defense. It was weird. We was top offensively and then the bottom defensively. So
Hey, I
we'll
mean, we
see
came
this.
around. We came around. I feel like everything. It was a regression on both ends, like positive and negative, towards the end of the season. But man, come on, man. Like it's
I'm not.
bro,
I'm not as nice. I'm not as generous
Nah,
as this
Triple M
guy.
just
bro,
hating
bro.
right now.
I'm in
That's
the
Oh,
all it
look.
training
is.
facility
Put it
right
this
now.
way,
No?
Randall. A lot of people didn't even have him as a ever being an All Star, All NBA type player, and he did that under his watch. Emmanuel quickly developed into damn near six man of the year, which we could debate here and there. He got robbed for that, but that was under his watch and developed as a pretty good defensive player. Mitchell
Okay.
Exactly.
All
Robinson,
right. Before you finish, you said this earlier. We don't know if somebody else was here if that would have happened as well. We just don't. You
we
know.
don't, but what we do know is that they did it under his
So then
watch.
I could give you.
Exactly.
I could give you that same argument that
But
if we
what we
would have
do know
played,
is that it happened under his watch,
but I'm
man.
gonna
Because
give
if
you
he
that.
really wanted to, if he really wanted to, he could be like, "Yo, I don't like Randall. I don't want you. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and limit your minutes. You know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna go ahead and play Obi. Like, if he wanted to, he
Well,
could
he
have
don't
go.
like
He,
rookies, so you knew that wasn't gonna happen. So he
but
don't
Instead
like
of
rookies.
Randall, it could have been Bobby Portis right now
it
out
could have
there,
been Bob,
man.
right? It could have. He could.
Bobby,
He
he
just
let
could have been
Bobby.
like, you know what? I'm just. He could have been like, "Yo, I'm just gonna bring one of my other guys. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and let him go." And he went ahead. He took a shot on him. And look at
Nah,
what happened.
y'all being y'all Thibodeau under the Thibodeau spot. But we could go back and forth. We could go on here to 3 in the morning arguing because I feel confident in my stand. Obviously, Zebo and Don Juan feeling confident in their stand. So put your comments. How do y'all feel down low? Let us know how y'all feel about tips, I'll be. I'm curious to see because the comments on Twitter they were going crazy. People were saying the best in Van Gundy. Um, a lot of people were saying the best since Van Gundy, people were saying stable. It was a lot of good comments on that. Y'all should go check it out. And a lot of people were saying, "I don't care, fire that man." So it was a mixture of everything going on the
Nah,
Twitter.
you
On
know who
that.
Triple M's favorite coach was? Larry Brown. That's why that was his favorite
Oh
coach.
my
That was his
god.
favorite
My
coach.
favorite Knicks coach
I feel like Mike
in the
Woodson
last
will
what
probably be
23. It
Triple
has
A.
to be me, Mike. Mike,
Don
I like Mike.
Chaney. Don
I like
Chaney.
Mike Wilson. I like Mike. No, Don Chaney, man, that was bad. That was bad work right there. But fellas, man, it's always good talking Knicks with you guys.
Facts, facts.
We back on it. Preseason basketball upon us. So let's tap back in. Let's tap back in. Let's get consistent. Um, I can't wait to chop it up with you guys. If somebody hit me up, my boy Al, he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, you guys are being impersonated on Instagram." They saw the Knicks Wallen logo and they like, "What's going on? What happened to the Knicks fans Wallen?" So I love seeing comments like that. It makes it shows me that that we're connecting with people. So
Facts,
like
facts.
Don Juan said, we will be there game 1 of the season, and we'll be there a lot during the season. And let's get up out of here, fellas. Any last words from you, Zebo?
Yeah, man. Yo, tap in with us. We'll be out here more consistent with the shows, obviously, every single week. And listen, man, we're gonna be out there for the open practice too, man. So show some love. If y'all see us out there, you're gonna see Triple M out there. So definitely show us some love, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. But yeah, man, we'll be there. So, definitely show us some love out there.
Don
Yeah,
Juan,
man. Well, it's Don Juan signing us out, man. I'm glad to be back. I told y'all earlier, man. It's just New York sports in general it's been a mess out here. So we need these Knicks to just carry us to the promised land, finish the job for us, man. But I'm looking forward to the season. Zebo said we'll be at the practice. We gonna be there at the first game of the season in the Garden. You know, don't be afraid to show love. Make sure to wait up. Next Wallen is on TikTok. Make sure to follow the guys out there on TikTok. We into the TikTok space, TikTok world. I know people going crazy on TikTok, so we had to, dabble with the TikTok, man. We on IG too, so make sure to follow us, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We almost at 1K. We on that mission right now. We got to get there. We got to get to 1K at least by the first game. Let's make that a priority. Think it might be a little tough, but without the fans, without the viewers, without the listeners, we won't be here without y'all. Last year was our biggest year, biggest growth year, and honestly, I credit y'all for just showing out and always showing love to us, man. And just like I said, just make sure to like the video. We will gladly appreciate it because it does go a long way, especially with us. And just to make sure that y'all liking what we do, because we obviously we could just go on FaceTime and just make a phone call and just talk Knicks, but this is where we at, and it's the platform that we're creating, the community we actually created. So I'm just glad that you guys are with us in this journey. And hey, you already know the giveaway is coming soon, so y'all best. It might be best for y'all to stick around. It might be best. Just saying.
For sure, bro. Y'all already know Don Juan and Zebo. They said everything that needed to be said. That needed to be said. Excuse me. Knicks wildin'. We out here. First episode back in a minute. Great to tap back in with y'all. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.